Imagine a city, once vibrant and whole, suddenly split in two. This was Berlin in 1961. After World War II, Germany found itself caught in a struggle between two superpowers, the democratic West and the communist East. Tensions grew and people fled from East to West Berlin in search of freedom and opportunity. To stem the tide, a wall of concrete and barbed wire was erected, dividing families, friends, and a nation. This was the Berlin Wall, a stark symbol of the Cold War. It stood for over 28 years, a brutal reminder of the division between East and West. The wall became a physical manifestation of the ideological Iron Curtain that had fallen across Europe. For those trapped in the East, it represented oppression and isolation. On the Western side, graffiti artists turned the wall into a canvas of protest, their colorful murals reflecting the yearning for freedom and unity. The Berlin Wall became a global symbol of division, a stark reminder of the human cost of political conflict. But even walls, no matter how imposing, cannot hold back the human spirit's desire for freedom forever. For almost 3 decades, the Berlin Wall cast a long shadow over the lives of Berliners. The once unified city lived with a tangible reminder of the division. Families found themselves separated, unable to cross the concrete divide. East Berliners faced strict controls on their movements and freedoms. The wall became a symbol of oppression, a constant reminder of the limited choices available to them. Daily life was a stark contrast between the two sides. West Berlin, supported by the Western powers, flourished with economic prosperity and cultural vibrancy. East Berlin, under communist rule, experienced economic stagnation and political repression. The wall became a stark visual representation of these disparities. Despite the hardships, the human spirit endured. Acts of defiance, both small and large, became commonplace. People risked their lives to help others escape to the West, tunneling under the wall or smuggling people across borders. By the late 1980s, change was in the air. The Soviet Union, under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, began to embrace reforms. Across Eastern Europe, people grew bolder in their demands for freedom and democracy. Protests erupted, challenging the authority of communist regimes. The Berlin Wall, once an unyielding symbol of division, began to crumble under the weight of these changes. One by one, Eastern European countries began to open their borders. The once impenetrable Iron Curtain started to disintegrate. In Hungary, the border fence with Austria was dismantled, allowing East Germans to cross freely into the West for the first time in decades. The floodgates of change had opened, and the Berlin Wall stood as the last barrier to a reunited Germany and a transformed Europe. The night of November 9, 1989 began like any other in Berlin, the city divided, the wall a stark reminder of the political realities. But history, as it often does, had a surprise in store. An announcement by an East German official, Günter Schabowski, changed everything. Responding to a question during a live press conference, Schabowski fumbled, then announced that East Germans would be allowed to cross into West Berlin, effective immediately. The news spread like wildfire, first as a rumor, then confirmed by television broadcasts. Thousands of East Berliners, incredulous but hopeful, flocked to the wall, demanding to cross. Border guards, caught off guard and without orders, were overwhelmed by the sheer number of people. The wall, once impenetrable, was breached. A wave of euphoria swept through Berlin. People from both sides climbed on top of the wall, cheering, crying, and embracing. Section 5. Jubilation and Uncertainty, Stepping into the Unknown. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a moment of pure joy. Strangers hugged, tears flowed freely, and the air crackled with the electricity of freedom. The world watched in awe as decades of division crumbled in a single night. It was a spontaneous celebration of human resilience and the irresistible desire for unity. But amidst the euphoria, there was also uncertainty. What would a unified Germany look like? What would become of the Soviet Union? The future, once predictable, now seemed full of possibilities. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not just the collapse of a physical barrier, it was the shattering of an ideology. It marked the symbolic end of the Cold War, signaling a shift in global power and the beginning of a new era. For Berliners, it meant a chance to rebuild their city, their lives, and their shared identity. Section 6. Reuniting a City, the Fall's Immediate Impact. The immediate aftermath of the wall's fall was a time of both celebration and chaos. Families separated for decades were reunited in emotional scenes. East Berliners flooded into West Berlin, eager to experience the freedom and opportunities they had been denied for so long. The streets of Berlin became a carnival of joy, with impromptu street parties and celebrations lasting for days. But the reunification of a city divided for so long also brought challenges. The economic disparities between East and West Germany were stark. Integrating the two economies and societies proved to be a complex and lengthy process. The psychological scars of division ran deep, and it would take time to heal the wounds of the past. As Section 7, A World Transformed, The Fall Seen Through Time. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a pivotal moment in world history. It marked the end of the Cold War, a decades-long standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union. The collapse of the Soviet Union followed soon after, reshaping the geopolitical landscape. The fall of the Berlin Wall demonstrated the power of people's desire for freedom and democracy. It showed that even the most rigid systems of control can crumble when confronted with the unwavering spirit of human aspiration. The event inspired movements for democracy and human rights around the world. It served as a reminder that walls, both physical and ideological, are ultimately unsustainable. The fall of the Berlin Wall continues to resonate today as a symbol of hope and a testament to the power of peaceful change. Section 8. Echoes of Freedom. The Berlin Wall's legacy today. Today the Berlin Wall is gone, but its legacy lives on. Segments of the wall remain as memorials, stark reminders of the city's divided past. Museums and memorials tell the stories of those who lived through the Cold War, preserving their experiences for future generations. The fall of the Berlin Wall is a reminder that freedom is precious and must be constantly defended. It teaches us that division and oppression are never the answer. The event continues to inspire artists, writers, and musicians who use their work to reflect on themes of freedom, unity, and the human spirit's ability to overcome adversity. Section 9. Learning from the past, walls don't hold forever. The fall of the Berlin Wall holds important lessons for us today. It reminds us that walls, whether physical or metaphorical, are ultimately ineffective. Walls built to divide people and stifle dissent cannot stand forever. They represent a failure of understanding, empathy, and compassion. The human desire for connection, freedom, and opportunity will always find a way to overcome barriers. Instead of building walls, we should focus on building bridges. We must strive to understand different perspectives, embrace diversity, and engage in constructive dialogue. Only then can we create a world where walls are relics of the past and unity prevails. Section 10. The Power of Unity. One people, one Berlin. The fall of the Berlin Wall taught us that unity is more powerful than division. It demonstrated the strength of shared human experiences and the ability to overcome even the most daunting obstacles together. When people unite around common goals, anything is possible. The reunification of Berlin serves as a powerful symbol of what can be achieved when people choose hope over fear, dialogue over silence, and unity over division. The spirit of unity that brought down the Berlin Wall continues to inspire people around the world who are working to build bridges of understanding and create a more just and peaceful world. Section 11. A Continuing Journey Towards a World Without Walls. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a momentous occasion, but the journey towards a world without walls is far from over. Walls and divisions still exist in many forms, both physical and metaphorical. We must continue to challenge injustice, promote equality, and strive for a world where everyone has the opportunity to live in freedom and dignity. The lessons of the Berlin Wall remind us that change is possible. We must never take our freedoms for granted and must always be willing to stand up for what is right. Let us honor the legacy of the Berlin Wall by working together to build a future where walls are a distant memory and unity prevails.